And is that more expensive than my car?
Yes.
There's another toy to share with you guys. Duncan's brought, looks like it's out on Men in Black or something, but it's a handheld version of what we've been using earlier. So let's have a look at that. So folks, today we're looking at something a bit different. In the last episode, the first of our mini series on surveying the farm, Neon Surveys came out and used a tripod mounted scanner and GPS systems to scan and plot the whole farm inside and out in a crazy amount of detail. Today's video we're looking at a new gadget which does a similar thing but in a handheld format, and it's pretty mind-blowing. So we're not using this for the actual scan, we're just playing.
Yeah. I just thought it might
Yeah.
be good.
Please do karaoke.
So the green line is where we walk,
Yeah.
and you'll see it start to, if we go around to the left, you'll start to see it all.
So it's building it
Yeah.
as you're...
So I can replay this walk, so in a minute you'll see
You have to move.
Yeah, you have to walk around with it. So it's almost a bit like the other one. All the little white dots are the measurements it's taking.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And if we, so like this one's always.
And every one of those dots is accurate to what?
About 10 mil.
So the laser's scanning in there. Is that right? So it's
spinning in there.
But the cameras are static on that one?
Yeah, the cameras are static, so the cameras are just tracking its movement.
Yeah. Does that overlay the photo like the other one does? Or not?
It will add colour to the point cloud, Yeah. You can then, obviously, if there's a key bit of detail, so let's say this gate was, we can get it to take a photo, which will pop up in a second. So then we've got a photo of any key information that we want to...
Oh, it's a separate
key
file.
feature, as a separate file that we can pull out. But and you just literally walk around with it and it produces all you need.
And is that more expensive than my car?
Yes.
Most things are, to be honest.
So price-wise, this is about 40k.
How much?
40.
40? Alright, that's more expensive than any vehicle I've ever owned or will ever own.
The RTC scanner, that version is, I think, now 43. P-Series one I was telling you about, that's 80k.
Yes.
I lowered one of those down a main sewer line out of London, scanning it. Yeah, that's the most nervous I've been, because there's definitely no recovering that.
What's that dock for?
You have to keep it stable to start off with.
Calibrate.
So that the spinning head is stable and before you move it. So you just have to wait for it to go green, and then it starts to. Let's see if I can. This one with going into that room might give a better idea of how it's building up as we walk, because you'll suddenly see this appear.
Oh, going that way, yeah. Oh, so it's adding the...
Yeah. If I just go a bit further.
So if you're doing an office, every time you walked into a new room, it would just add it to the...
It'll start to build it up. Yeah. So there you go, and that would be this room done. So if I just stick this out here as well.
I'm actually going to pause and rewind here, because I'm trying to get my head around what exactly is happening here. If you're anything like me, and it helps to have things explained a couple of times, this gadget that we see here is actually shooting a laser out. Unlike a laser measure you might have in your workshop for measuring a wall to a wall, one point to another, this is shooting out thousands, if not millions of lasers, all over the building, the room, and taking measurements up to 20-25 meters and inputting them simultaneously into a file and creating a 3D model of that room or that building. And then you could sit at your desk the next day and measure anything. in 3D, you could measure the floor plans, the elevations, all from something which would fit in your lunchbox. I mean, isn't that a bit mind-boggling? Just imagine the manpower and the hours that would go into measuring this 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's crazy. So you'd never use just that for this sort of project? Oh, you probably could, but...
You could. I think where for a project like this, I might use this would be something like internally here.
Yeah.
But I'd scan round the outside with the other scanner, get that nice control tight external dimensions.
Yeah.
And then add in and infill this area.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of with this.
So the same file type?
Yes. Yeah. Put comes into the same process.
And with all of these scanners, how does it determine the thickness of a wall? Do you have to show it in an opening, or how does it?
So in this one, it's because it's tracking its own movement.
Yeah.
It knows, okay, I've measured these points, I've measured those, and it knows where it's going, and then it's just adding more points in.
Yeah.
So it's building it up. The other one is we link each scan with overlap.
Right.
So,
okay. So as long as you're showing the doorway and the reveal.
Yeah, so we'll probably set the scanner up here, and you will have had points on that part of the building, points in this part of the building. Then as we move here, it, like in the software, we'll tell it that it's sort of in the same location, and then it will go, right, okay, I know these points, I've got these points, I'll link them together, and you just keep linking each scan together, and that's how you build up the sort of wall.
So you don't manually input anything?
No manual entry for certainly building the point cloud.
And what about the upper surface of the beam?
Okay, so that's where this could come in useful.
Because you can raise it.
You could just hold it up here. Yeah. We could obviously have the scanner. There are some tripods that you can raise like instruments, the scanner up higher, and we could do that and set the scanner up higher. In terms of this, and for 99% of what we do, because we will have that point, and we'll have the top point on this side,
it will tie it.
We would know, and we could go right and draw a line.
Right, okay.
If we were doing a section, say through.
But so theoretically, if you wanted to scan a historical roof, you could, using something like that, you could climb up and around and.
I was trying to get hold of one for them, partly because I wanted to have a play with it, but also partly because I thought it'd make good content. Like, have just basically released this mounted on a drone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's quite good for where we've got, say, if we're scanning an elevation and you've got sort of quite high ornate parapet walls. Yeah. Sometimes we can't get far enough back to get detail past them. So that's where one of these on a drone would be useful, because you could fly it in that area that's sort of shadowed by the front facade and infill the point cloud there.
Will that detect where a pane of glass is?
Pane of glass? No, it won't. No, it won't detect the pane of glass itself, but we would be able to sort of pick up the sort of edging, and also sometimes when you've got like the corking in, you can actually see that in the window frame.
What about if you've got really clean windows?
Will it go through them?
Yeah. Good reference points here.
Yeah, correct. So the laser does travel through glass. The thing is, though, we can't, and we don't really, we don't use the data through there because it gets distorted by the glass.
Refracted.
Refraction through the glass.
Yeah.
So yes, it will go through glass, but we tend to, anything that we know is through glass, we always take with a pinch of salt.
What about if you were scanning an indoor swimming pool? Would it pick up the bed of the pool? Again, it would distort it, wouldn't it?
It would distort it, but yes,
go through the water.
It would. I've not done it, but I think it would.
So I'm trying to throw a few random questions at you.
No, it's cool. Yeah, like I say, I just thought I'd bring this one along. It wasn't with the thing of using it per se for the actual job, but I thought it might be interesting. Yeah, I like my tech.
Now if you haven't seen our very first video in this mini-series, then I will leave a link to that at the end of this one. That was all about the main scanning stage, and that was a tripod mounted laser scanner like you heard Duncan talking about earlier. Now that really captured all of the info, the details, both inside and outside, that we're going to need for the whole duration of all these projects. Right, while they continue with the data collecting, I'm just going to have a quick look down the fields. I'm not going to walk down there now, but we had obviously all the storms last week, 2 weeks ago, so I was just going to see how many trees have come down. There's some dead trees down there which we know have got to come out anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lost a few more. So that one on the right was the dead one that was down last time, but that is another one on the left, and some more right over the far side as well there. It's going to keep us busy the next couple of weeks. At least another year's worth of firewood down. Now you probably won't be surprised to hear that I don't have an affiliate link to this bit of kit on Amazon. However, I will leave a link to Duncan's company, Neon Surveys, down below, just in case you need any survey work done. Now I did promise another video in our mini-series, and that video will be up shortly. That's going to be all about taking this data we've collected, which is the point cloud, every one of those white dots you see on the iPad or the phone that Duncan was using. All of those measurements are all put into this bit of software, and we out of that get a 3D model of the farm, and that can be in a monochrome sort of scan looking thing, or it can also be colorized in a photographic way, and we'll be able to fly through every building, every roof, every truss around the outside. It's really impressive stuff. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this little insight, and also make sure you subscribe for all the farm projects and future videos. But that's it, thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.